these other dudes. Maybe just grab you.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work. All right, guys, fire away.
What did you see from the scrimmage tape?
We got a long way to go. You know, there were some positives. You know, you come out and you turn the ball over that many times. You know, we're not going to win games doing that. We got a long way to go. They worked really hard, and you know, we came out here and got a little better today. There at the end wasn't real great, but you know, we're working every day, and it's a process.
What do you tell the guys after all those turnovers?
Well, it's not really what you tell them, is how you coach them. You know, we went in the meeting, and you know, we had a little quick talk per se, and then it ended right there, and we watched the film and we got better from it. So just continuing to coach them.
Are they about where you expected them to be at this point in the spring?
You know, you kind of knew with young guys that they kind of come out hot. It's like having freshmen during the season. They come out hot, and then, you know, come game 6, 7, 8, they start to hit a wall. It's no different in spring. You know, they've kind of hit a wall, and we got to continue to force them to learn and force them to grow. And when they come out to practice, they gotta execute, and it's really not much harder than that. So.
With some of the turnovers and picks, what kind of things were they seeing, or what kind of things did you diagnose?
It's a lot of stuff they weren't seeing, not really what they were seeing. You know, we got guys running open, and we just missed them, and that's on me. You know, I got to do a better job as a coach to get them understanding what we're doing, understand what we want, and diagnosing coverages a little better. And you know, that's not their fault, that's my fault. And you know, we'll continue to harp it and continue to coach it. And you know, like I said, it's getting a little better. It's coming along. It's just you know, Saturday was a poor performance by all of us, including me. And you know, we'll continue to work and keep growing.
Did you see them do anything different today from Saturday?
Well, we cut down on the turnovers. You know, we had less plays, so. But you know, it was only one turnover. You know, yeah, it got a little better. We diagnosed cover 2 a little faster, which was good to see. You know, I don't think you're going to have a ton different in one day, you know, one practice. So, you know, there's not a lot, but you know, no balls on the ground, no drop snaps, and you know, we knew where guys were supposed to be lined up. You know, one time we screwed up a motion and they actually got it fixed. So that part's good to see. So it shows that we are growing, we are getting a little better, but you know, like I said, we got a long way to go.
What are some ways that you measure progress besides just less turnovers?
Reads, you know, that it's hard for fans and people to see actually what we're, you know, as far as what we're reading and those things. You know, when they go through a progression, that doesn't always mean we're going to have a completion. They may go through a progression and have to throw a ball away. You know, that's progress. You know, that means we didn't throw the ball to the other team. So, you know, continuing to look at those things, continuing to coach them up on the little things we need to do, and you know, pluses and minuses they get from each practice are different. You know, it just depends on the play, it depends on what happens, and you know, it depends on the result.
It's been early, but what's kind of the best way for you to dissect this competition?
The ball moving. You know, the scrimmages and live practices are really good. Doing a lot of blitz periods, so putting them under as much pressure as we can. You know, and who can handle those things? Those are the most game-like settings. You know, 7-on-7 is great, routes on air is great. You know, when the D-line shows up, that's really when football's played. And you know, the person that executing those situations are really where we study what we like to see, and you know, where it's going to come down to who we want being the quarterback.
How do you address accuracy issues in those team periods?
Drills, calming their feet down. A lot of that is, you know, they got really happy feet, really fast feet, and they're really trying to see too much. You know, right now we're seeing the rush, which you shouldn't do that, and you know, work drills to stop them from doing it. And you know, there's just more reps at those type of situations is the only thing that's going to get them better at it.
How did you manage your time last year as opposed to now as a position coach last year in the role you're in? Like, what was it like then compared to what you're doing now?
Well, you know, I had a lot more time last year. You know, I couldn't coach at practice. I couldn't do those things. So, you know, I was charting. I was doing different things. You know, when we went up to watch film, I didn't necessarily always have to be in there. I may have been typing in the film or doing other things. So, now having to coach the guys and get them ready for practice, it's a little more of a time crunch, but, it's the same issue everywhere. So, I got to manage my time and then get them ready.
Are there any ways in that role last year where you can develop maybe in ways that you can't if you're, dealing with players all the time? Or
yeah, well, really getting to dive into the film, and not just our film, having extra time getting to dive into NFL film and, teams in college that do things really well, getting to see those and implement them in what we do.
What are the biggest changes between working for Jeff to working for Clay as a head coach?
They're both really good guys. I'd say Coach Bryan was a little more hands-on as far as, he was calling the plays offensively. So, yeah, he was in every meeting. He was, in all the game planning meetings, all those things. So that part's a little different. Both of them are really good people, which is nice, and really good to their staffs and really good to their players. But the hands-on approach, we were there. Obviously, Coach Bryan didn't have to deal with near as much media as Coach Clay does in LA. So that part's a little different, but other than that, there's nothing.
The quarterbacks seem to be under a lot of pressure today. Is that them not releasing the ball quick enough, or is that the O-line still not ready yet?
Combination of everything. A lot of it comes down to us. We got to get the O-line in the right protection. I was raised by a coach. I'm never going to sit here and blame it on anybody else. At the end of the day, I'm the quarterback, and I'm the quarterback's coach. We have to get them right. So if we're in a bad protection, we got to get them right. If we're in a bad run, we got to get it right. If somebody screws up, we got to make them right. So, it's nothing they're doing. It's all on us, and I got to get, it's all on me. I got to get the quarterbacks understanding what to do, where to go, and understanding to execute those things a little quicker. And when we get there, we'll be just fine. See how far along we can get them. We're not going to name a quarterback during spring ball. It's just not going to happen. And for one, it's not fair because not everybody that's going to be in the competition's here. It's just that's the way it is every year. And push them along, continue and force them to learn. See how far we can get them. And when we come out of spring, we got to see where we are and what we're good at. That way, when we go into fall camp and we start, game planning and we start deciding what we're going to install, we got to install what each guy's good at. And, how we're going to move the ball on Saturday is obviously the most important thing. That's what we're trying to figure out now.
What are the things you take from working for Jeff as a quarterback guy now? Obviously, he had success playing it. I know Clay was one too, but obviously Jeff's still so hands-on.
He's one of the better quarterbacks coaches I've ever been around. I learned so much from him, just from how to teach them, the things to say and understanding what not, you can sometimes tell a quarterback too much, and he was one of the best about, don't overcoach it. Just tell them what they need to know, and the player in them will go out there and execute. So though, it's not just what to tell them, it's what not to tell them too, and that's one of the biggest lessons I learned from him.
Can you overcoach? You find yourself overcoaching at times?
I think at some point every coach does. You want to be perfect every time. Every play, football is a game of, it comes down to 4 or 5 plays. There may be 140 plays running a game, but it really comes down to 4 or 5 snaps. And you want to make sure you execute in those 4 or 5. So yeah, you tend to find yourself doing that. And as a coach, you got to find a balance of what to say and what not to say. And I don't know if that's something that ever gets perfected. You can, I'm continually learning and all those things as well. So
can that be tough in these situations where you're still trying to figure out who fits what?
Yeah, it's definitely tough when you come out here and you have 2 days that weren't great. Yeah, it's going to be, are you overanalyzing it? What can you do better as a coach? What plays you go in and decide what plays is each guy good at? So yeah, you can overanalyze it, but luckily we got a couple months before we have to play a game. So, we're just going to come out here every day and work hard and see where we are at the end of these 15 practices. Good. Appreciate you.